Suppose you are walking on an empty road, it's all good, it's a very pleasant day, but suddenly you see a tiger in front of you. Now, at this point, what would you do? I'm almost very certain that you would run away from that place. And why would you run away from that place? Because your fear told you to do so. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about fears, about what do we fear, about why do we fear, and how to get rid of those fears. So before we go ahead, I would request you all to please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon, because I've been working really hard to bring out the best content for you guys, and a small support from you, small contribution from you can actually push me towards working better, towards bringing out the best content ever for you guys. So please subscribe to my channel and share it with friends of whom you think it can help. So now back to it. What really is fear? So WebMD describes fear as an unpleasant feeling triggered by the perception of danger that could be real or that could be imagined. And in most of the cases, in most of the scenarios, that fear is always governed by the feeling of unknowingness, the feeling of uncertainty. Of course, there are many cases in which fear can actually take the shape of the past traumas, can take the shape of the past memories. And in this video, we're going to talk about both kinds of fear: the fear that takes place because of the past traumas, and also because of the fear that we're facing every day in our lives. And how do we actually understand them, and how do we actually work around them? So make sure you watch this video till the end, because I will be sharing some really important insights on how we can understand those traumas, how we can work on those traumas, and also the fear that we keep on facing in our daily lives, like facing an interview or going out to attend a meeting or any new kind of thing that you are trying out in your lives. And like I said, most often it's that feeling of uncertainty, is that feeling of unknowingness that takes shape as a feeling of fear. And hence it's very much important to understand what that unknowingness is, what that uncertainty is. And hence it's very much important and very much crucial for us to understand at this particular point of what that unknowingness is. To know that, let's start with an example. Imagine you are sitting in a room and then there is pitch black darkness outside. None of the street lights are working and you cannot really see anything that is going outside. Now imagine this thing as I'm talking to you about it. Imagine that feeling of fear that is actually creeping inside you. Can you do that? Can you understand and feel that fear right now? I'm sure you can do that. Now, at this point, you remember that you have run out of grocery. And you actually have to get out of your room right now and step out to take and get out your grocery. And you have no other option left. You have to get out at this particular point, at this particular hour. How would you feel at this particular point? I'm sure you'll be scared, you'll be horrified about the whole idea of stepping out at this particular hour, because it's dead scary outside. So enough of this horror movie. Let's just think about it logically now. Why did you actually feel that fear? Why did you actually feel that it's really hard, it's really dangerous to go outside? Is it because of darkness? Because of course darkness is a scary thing, but why is darkness a scary thing? Because when you go out to step in the darkness, it's not the darkness, it's not the night that is scary, it's the feeling of unknowingness. It's the feeling of not actually remembering and not actually knowing what comes in front of you. There could be wild animals in front of you, there could be a car coming in front of you, or there could be ghosts to actually kill you. So that's the fear that we're actually carrying with us. So hence it becomes very much important for us to understand that it's not the darkness that we're scared of, it's the unknowingness, it's the uncertainty that we're scared of. And this thing is very similar to what happens in our real life as well, because we're not really scared of scenarios, we're not really scared of trying out new things, we're not really scared of attending an interview or trying out a new relationship. We're actually scared of that uncertainty that comes along with it, that unknowingness that comes along with it. And it becomes very much important. Now coming back to the same example, what would you have done if you had to actually get out grocery for yourself? You had to do something, so you do that, of course. But what would you do about it? I'm sure you'd either take a friend with you or you'd take a flashlight with you. So when you take that flashlight with you or when you take a friend out with you, you'd finally be able to understand that in this particular darkness I can see everything around me. I can see that there is no potential danger in front of me, and hence you would feel safe. And that's the same exact thing that we need to do with our lives as well. Because the moment you start understanding what is going on in your life, the moment you start understanding what are the things that you're stepping into, we would stop fearing them and would start accepting and working on them. And hence it becomes so much important for us to understand fear, for us to understand why do we fear certain things and how we can get rid of them. So this video is all about understanding them and working along with it. So here are the 4 ways you can actually get rid of those fears. The first thing is understanding that fear is not your enemy. And I've heard this a thousand of times from a thousand of people that they are very much scared of fear. So they are basically fearing fear. People are scared to feel fear because they are fearful of fears. And no, that's a very ironic statement, but actually it's true. Because people always feel that fear is trying to kill them, that fear is trying to get them into unknowingness, that fear is trying to get them into a potential threat. But that's not the truth. That fear is a guiding force, and we must understand that fear is only here to help us. Let's understand that with another example. Suppose you are walking on an empty road, it's all good, it's a very pleasant day, but suddenly you see a tiger in front of you. Now, at this point, what would you do? I'm almost very certain that you would run away from that place. And why would you run away from that place? Because your fear told you to do so. Because your fear told you that there's a tiger in front of you and that tiger can potentially kill you. And hence you listened to your fears and hence you ran away from that particular place. So see, your fear was there to guide you and that fear actually saved your life. And hence it's very much important for us to understand that anything that you really fear in life, be it attending an interview, be it trying out new things, or be it attempting a new relationship after a bad one, you have to understand that your fears are only trying to guide you or tell you that okay, this is something that could be dangerous for you, but that is not, or that may not really be dangerous. So just see fear or take fear as an indication, as an indicative force, rather than seeing it as a real danger, because fear is not a danger. Your emotions are not the danger. Your emotions are only there to guide you, only there to help you. But again, if you let those fears define your course of actions, almost all of your decisions in life would be very much emotionally biased. Because you don't actually get to see a tiger in front of you every day. That's something that could have happened, I think, maybe millions of years back or thousands of years back, while we were still evolving, while we were still setting up societies. But right now, in the society we are living in today, it's really not about facing a tiger or facing any potential threat. It's all about trying out new things. So, if you actually listen to your fears, if you actually listen to your fears and run away from that particular place, you would actually be not trying anything new, and hence you would stop your potential growth. So it's very much important to understand that your fear is an indicative force. Of course it is, but you don't always have to listen to it. Suppose you're trying to attend an interview, or trying to attend a meeting, or trying to do any new thing in life. Of course your fear would tell you that this could be dangerous for you, it could be a scary situation for you, and your heart will race faster, you would be sweating at that particular point. But you have to understand that that's just an indication. That fear is only trying to tell you that okay, this is a new thing for you, and hence you should only be alert about it. And hence when you take that alertness, and hence we take the idea of alertness, of that signal of fear, we would be able to work even much better in that particular prospect, because you realize that okay, this is something new I'm trying in my life, so I should be much more prepared than what I would have done in normal cases. And hence you would prepare even better, you would work out even better for that, and hence you would do a lot of good things in particular life. And hence it's important to understand that your fear is a guiding force. Take that as that, understand it as that, and then use that feeling of unknowingness, use that feeling of fear to be able to work harder, to be able to work and smart harder in your life, and then new things in your life. Because every new thing that you do in life, you would be countered with fear and anxiety in that particular moment. But if you let your fear and anxiety tell you that okay, you should not do anything new, then you would always be hampering your growth. So it's very much important to understand and accept that fear, understand that okay, I'm fearing at this particular point because I'm going to try out something new. That's a slogan you must be repeating for yourself as well. That's I'm trying out something new in my life, and hence it's very much natural for me to feel that fear, feel that anxiety, but I should not let that fear take any decisions for me. I should only be alert of that fear and then prepare even better to be able to do good things in my life. So that's a slogan for you as well. Make sure you work on that and make sure you repeat that every time you feel that sense of fear, sense of chill in your life when you're trying out something new. The second point is take a few deep breaths, and breaths can actually do wonders with your life. Because the moment you start breathing well, you tell your brain that you have to get out of the fight or flight response, and then you tell it to act normally, to act naturally. Because when you start breathing well, all the areas of your brain, all the parts of your brain and the heart would start receiving as much oxygen as it needs. And the moment it starts to happen, your brain would automatically think that you're no longer in a situation of danger, you're no longer in a situation of potential threat, and hence it would start acting naturally. So it becomes very much crucial, it becomes very much important for you to take a few deep breaths whenever you're in a situation of danger or fear or anxiety. And I've also talked about the science behind why breathing is so important and so crucial. So if you haven't watched that yet, make sure you watch that. I'm adding it in the description box down below and also adding it here. So make sure you watch that as well. And breathing has become a very important part of my life, of everything that I do with my life. I always try to make sure that I'm getting a good deep breath. Because whenever I'm trying to set out new things in my life, I also face that particular phase of anxiety. I also face that particular phase of fear. And it's very much natural. We all do that. It's a very much natural thing to actually feel that fear. But when you tell your brain that, okay, it's not something that could potentially harm me, it's not something that could potentially target me. And the moment you start taking few deep breaths, you come out of that particular response system and then you start acting naturally. So you can do that as well when you are trying to set out for a new interview, or you're trying to fear anything that you're really fearing in particular life. So make sure you take a few deep breaths and it would automatically come back to a natural state and you would feel very much confident with whatever you're doing. The third point is understanding that you are stronger than your fears. And this point is quite much similar to the first point, but this point is also applicable to the past traumas. And remember when I told you in the starting of this video that your past traumas have a very important role to play in the things you fear today. Because your traumas are still living inside you. Your traumas are still inside of you making all the crucial decisions. And your traumas have a very important role to play in the decisions you make today. So it happens with a lot of people that they face a bad traumatic experience in the past, and that traumatic experience actually continues to live inside their body, inside their brain, and that continues to shape their course of life. So it's very much important for you to understand the source of the trauma. It's very much important for you to understand where is the trauma coming from in order to cure that. So in certain cases when it becomes very much intolerable, it's very much important for you to take professional help. You can talk to a therapist, you can talk to a coach, you can help to understand the source of your trauma, who can help you understand the source of your fears and then get rid of that. But in general cases, what will happen is we're facing a lot of things in life. We're always creating new memories in life. And in some of those memories, we're also creating certain traumas in our life. Those traumas could be small, those traumas could be large. But understanding that your traumas are not always real is the first step towards combating that fear. Because I have faced this a lot of times while counseling a lot of people in case of relationship problems. Because I've talked to a lot of people who have come to me saying that I don't really want to get into a relationship again because of one bad memory in the past, because of one bad relationship experience in the past. So they had this one bad traumatic experience of relationship in the past, and that traumatic experience, that traumatic memory is constantly telling the brain that every relationship you get into would turn out to be the same for you. That means that would turn out to be bad for you. So basically what is really happening for them is that they are letting that traumas, letting that fear of relationships define their course of actions, and hence they are not able to choose any good partners for themselves. So it becomes very much important for us to understand where our trauma is coming from. Then we should be able to dissociate those traumas from the reality. Because of course you could have one bad relationship in the past, but that doesn't really mean that it would happen again in the future. Of course it might have happened even more than once, it could happen more than once or twice or thrice. At that particular point, it's very much important for you to understand the pattern that you have been following. And hence it becomes very much important for you to understand that, okay, this is the pattern that I have been following for the past many years. And this is primarily because of my past trauma that I am still living with my life. And hence it's very much important for you to understand that, okay, this is a trauma that I have lived through and I cannot change that. You cannot really change your past, but you can understand your traumas better, you can accept your traumas better, you can accept your past better, and that plays a very important role in how you deal with the present and how you deal with that fear of the present. So again, when you talk about the fear of this particular thing, when that fear comes with your past memories, the moment you start disassociating those past memories from the present, you'll be able to understand things much better way. You'll be able to take much better decisions in the present. Because every time your brain is in that particular moment of emotional turbulence, your amygdala gets hijacked. And I've talked about this in my previous videos as well. Please check that out to understand the science behind it. But like I was saying that every time you're in an emotional turbulence, your amygdala gets hijacked. And every time your amygdala is hijacked, you cannot take rational decisions. And the moment you stop taking rational decisions, your emotional brain will take power over it, and then your decisions would turn out to be an emotionally biased one. And hence, in most of the cases like fear or anxiety, In certain cases, what happens is your past is governing over your present, and hence you need to dissociate your past from your present, and hence the fear would automatically go away. So if you have finally understood that, okay, you had one bad relationship, but that doesn't mean that all your relationship in the present and the future would turn out to be the same for you. You would be dissociating those past from the present, and hence you would be able to choose better partners for yourself. So it becomes very much important to be able to define that, to be able to understand that in order to cure that. The fourth point is write it down. And I believe journaling plays a very, very important role for you. Because when I was talking about the past traumas and how the fear of the past actually plays a very active role in what you do in the present, it is always living inside you. So when you start writing things down about why those things are happening and getting to the core cause of all the things, you finally get to understand your past in a much, much better way. And the moment you start understanding the past in a much better way, you will start accepting your present, you will start accepting your past, and hence your future would automatically be sorted out. So I'm attaching a free worksheet that is free for you, that you can use it for your personal experiences, for your personal uses, and I'm sure this worksheet would help you a lot in understanding your fears. So you can download that worksheet from the description box down below, and you can feel free to use it. You can feel free to understand the source of your fears. You can feel free to understand how and where are your fears coming from, where are your fears originating from, in order to avoid that, in order to understand that and make better decisions in the present, and hence building a good future for yourself. So that's about the 4 points that you can really practice in order to combat fear, in order to understand fear, in order to get rid of fear. And again, before we end this video, I would just like to tell you that you must stop fearing fear, because your fear is not there to harm you. Your fear is not there to hurt you at any particular matter. And take that fear, take that anxiety as a very natural emotion, as a very natural thing for anyone to have, for anyone to really have. And the moment you start seeing as a natural thing that is only there to guide you, that is only there to help you through your natural acting process, then you will be able to accept it in a much better way, and then you will be able to take the best out of it. And hence you should take fear as a friend of yourself. Take fear as a way to understand yourself much better, to be able to understand your past, to be able to understand how you are doing in the present. And hence when you take that fear as your friend, you'll be able to work on it, you'll be able to understand your present and your past, and building your future in a much, much better way. So fear is not your enemy, it's your friend. Make sure you act accordingly, and hence all that fear of fear would certainly go away, and it would definitely help you build a good life for yourself. So I hope you like this video, and if you do, please like, comment and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel for more updates. Thank you so much.